Welcome to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about 5-packs and the 8 to 10 packs, depending on what other country you are in here, and why these packs, to me, have gone down the drain, and what we can do to make multi-packs great again for Hot Wheels. So, today we'll go through the history of Hot Wheels multi-packs briefly. We'll go through the current state and some of the issues that we're seeing with some of the current multi-packs. And then we'll go off and see in the future, what should they do with these multi-packs? What are some things from the past that they should bring back to now? And what are some new ideas to make multi-packs really fun and great again so that we all are buying multi-packs in the future? I would love to know, what do you guys think about this topic right here around multi-packs? Certainly comment down below and like, subscribe, share, and definitely also join the Discord down in the link down below. A lot of really cool discussions that we're having over there, and I'm doing some live BC, so you can actually be a part of brainstorming some of these videos right here. Let's go through the history of the multi-packs, specifically sticking on the 5-packs. So Hot Wheels 5-packs on the Hot Wheels wiki, they look like they date back to the mid-1980s, and they were shown as a gift pack. So a way for somebody, if you had a nephew or something like this, and you wanted to give them some Hot Wheels, but you didn't want to just buy a bunch of individual cars, these gift packs were a great way to do it. A current 5-pack, you have a lot of the cars kind of lined up like this from top to bottom, right? But they actually had more of this type of look where all the cars were displayed flat, I guess we could say, right? All the cars were displayed here. Is this horizontally or vertically? I don't even know. But this way, right? And it had 5 cars, and that was a majority of them. They were themed just like how they are today, but I wouldn't say that they were necessarily a representation of a modern 5-pack, especially because a lot of these cars actually were just from the main line, and then they just added into these gift packs. So this was the start of the 5-packs, but you know, more so just kind of got the ball rolling rather than a representation of kind of where those 5-packs are today. Around 1992, you started seeing this style of 5-pack actually start popping up where all the cars are lined up here top to bottom. The main difference though, again, you still had a lot of cars that were from the main line that were going into these packs right here, but you did start to see some exclusives to the packs, right? So that's something that's indicative to a current Hot Wheels multi-pack. And then in 1997, that's where you really started to see the page turn to the modern era of multi-packs, where you're seeing pretty much all the cars are gonna be multi-pack exclusives. The 5-packs themselves had a lot more theming to them. You saw a lot of themes that went year to year, such as like the Hot Wheels race team, rescue, police. Another big key of these 5-packs were the track sets that some of them corresponded with, especially when we're talking about large track sets, ones that would retail for higher prices. These 5-packs would give extra cars that were supposed to be themed to those track sets. You know, think about track sets like Fireball, track sets like Cyborg Assault was another one. Some of these bigger track sets here that had that big appeal to them, they would actually put a 5-pack with it and give those cars decos that go along with those track sets. So not only would you have the track set exclusive cars that a lot of the time had a theming to them that was with the track set, but also you had now a 5-pack that you could buy and go along with it. This is really smart to get a second item that you can sell with that main track set. This continued and developed in the 2000s, and I think that the 2000s, and I know for a lot of parts of the hobby, I've said the 2000s is the best, but again, I think for multi-packs, we're looking at the same sort of idea here. So for 5-packs, they had great theming to them. Some of the themes were, again, centered around a track set. Some of them were tied to licensed manufacturers. Ferrari had tons of 5-packs in the 2000s, even into the early 2010s. And then the decos that these castings had were really, really unique and really, really iconic. One 5-pack that I remember really vividly is the Robo Zoo 5-pack. Robots and zoo animals kind of stuck together, right? And I like these kind of interesting themes that some of these 5-packs had. Were they a little bit left field? They were left field, but it made that 5-pack seem pretty interesting. Another part of the 5-packs in the 2000s that I really like is they were really good at kind of setting an environment. Some of those police 5-pack especially, you would have a couple of police cars, You would have a car clearly that's trying to get away from the police. You can see it and say, hey, this is like a big chase, like you would see maybe in like a Grand Theft Auto or like a Need for Speed or Midnight Club. Here's an example of a 5-pack from the 2000s here to share with you guys. So this one right here is the Heat Fleet 5-pack. I believe it's from 2008. And right here, yeah, it's a pretty simple idea. It's just flames on these cars, right? But look at some of the casting choices they have here. A Nissan 350Z, an awesome Bully Goat, Dodge Charger, a Challenger concept, and that one's a Ford Mustang. A really sick looking group right here. And the flames decos really work well on these castings. They make these castings look really, really, really cool and unique, and cars that you would want to kind of race if you were a kid, right? They had that cool factor to them, and the decos accentuated the castings that they were a part of. And you got this really cool, unique theme, this Heat Fleet theme that you wouldn't get in the main line. They don't have like series like this all the time. So this would be a really cool theme that you can now have on your Hot Wheels cars. Now going back through the years, I think where it started going downhill was 2013. 2013, you started seeing very, very wild colorways put on cars. The cars looked cheaper. The cars had a cheaper look to them. And I think it really boils down to some of the decos that they chose on these cars, obviously some of the casting choices that they chose, the theming of these packs here, and just the colors of the cars themselves. A lot of the cars were also put in very bright colors. I think bright colors are not always a good fit, especially for cars. I mean, these bright, goofy, loud colors, maybe they did it because they were trying to attract kids to look at the 5-packs, but I don't think that this would result necessarily into any sort of extra attention to the 5-packs than they had before. It seems like they were trying to fix a problem that wasn't a problem in the first place. And that's why we saw a drastic change in what these 5-packs look like, especially in the mid-2010s. And then this bad trend has kind of come back recently here. So let's look at 2025 and some of the 5-packs that were released this year and see which ones would I keep and which ones would I cut. You have the X-Racers, and the X-Racers of today, if you compare those from yesteryear, from the late 2000s, it's not even a conversation of which one is better. It's obviously the later ones. The ones of now, they look super cheap. The casting choices are really, really poor. A lot of those cars, they seem like they have like no body almost, no detailing on the inside of them at all. Very, very lightweight. And then they just look bad. They look bad in the packaging. They look cheap. No one would want to buy these sort of castings. And they look flimsy and fragile even actually at that point. So I wouldn't want to go anywhere near these castings. So those would be a cut. Next is the HW City. Look at a City 5-pack from the 90s here and look at a City pack from today. The cars don't make any sense. You have a really bad choice of castings a lot of the time here. Also, the theming of some of these castings is really poor. Like, why is Night Shifter here a police car? It was never a police car. For me, this is an easy cut. Next is Batman. And to me, Batman is overdone. If you look at some of the Batman 5-packs from the late 2000s, early 2010s, those were a lot better. They had that Batman kind of aura to them. They had that darkness that you were kind of looking for. Right now, they look very cartoonish. They look juvenile. They look very bad. And it seems like there's less and less Batman castings that are actually in these 5-packs in the first place. Most of them are just decos of characters that are in the Batman series rather than really giving that feel of being in the Batman universe itself. And some of these Batman 5-packs also have recolors of a lot of the Batmobile castings, and Batmobiles don't look very good most of the time in any other color than black. They just don't have that versatility that other castings have. So these packs right here, I think is overdone, and it's time to rotate those out. So those are a cut. Hot Wheels Getaways, another pack. Why do we need to have this? It was featuring a lot of more wagon castings, a lot of more people transporter type of castings here. And again, you had really bad color schemes on a lot of these cars. A lot of the casting choices were poor. Like, why is the casting It's like Hoverstorm in the 5-pack. They look cheap and it's silly castings. Those are also a cut for me. Now let's go into some more of the positives. Number one would be the Formula One 5-pack. I think the Formula One 5-pack this year was really well done. And I like it because it's an easier way for people to get Formula One castings rather than always having to go to the main line and try to find them there. This was a good way for Mattel to be able to release Formula One castings, more of them in this first year than just release them in the main lines. And also was letting collectors buy a bunch of them at once and not have to constantly go back to the store over and over and over and over again throughout the year to get their hands on some Formula One castings. So this one right now is a keep, and I would just keep this one going as the liveries of these cars change. Let's Race. Let's Race, believe it or not, even though I don't like the show, I think the 5-packs are actually pretty good. You get 5, well, not always 5, 4, 3 solid fantasy castings in really good, solid decos that work on those cars. I like them. Like, these are Hot Wheels cars. These are true Hot Wheels cars in this 5-pack that you can add to your collection. Really simple, basic stuff, but it works really well. So keep the Let's Race. I also like the Fast and Furious. The reason I like the Fast and Furious is a very similar reason to the Formula One. You know, Fast and Furious is mostly in the premium line or it's in the silver series. It can sometimes be very difficult to get your hands on some of these castings. Even some of the ones in the main line can get scalped out pretty quickly. But these 5-packs here give a great opportunity for you to get some castings from Fast and Furious at a cheaper price than those premium lines. And also they won't be scalped out by the scalpers. You'll be able to just find them on the pegs. And there's been several Fast and Furious 5-packs that have come out over the recent years. And if you were able to just buy that 5-pack every year, you would have yourself a really nice collection of Fast and Furious models. So I think the Fast and Furious 5-pack is a thumbs up for me, and it's a keep. Back to some of the bad ones. The stunt tracks is really, really poor. The biggest issue on these is the wheels, the orange wheels. They are absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And why they haven't moved off of these type of wheels is beyond me. Can they bring back the Fast and Ever wheels? I would love to see them do that. But even if they can, just go with a normal wheel. You don't need to have these silly orange wheels on the cars. Just pick some cars that'll be good on the tracks and put them in a 5-pack. And with some solid, clean decos, okay? You don't need to be super outlandish and super colorful with all these cars, right? They can be in different colors, of course, but they don't need to be red with blue decos on it and orange wheels. We don't need to have that, okay? We don't need these childish looking colors. Clean them up, the kids will buy them anyways. And at least if you have them cleaner, the adults might be more intrigued to buy them as well. So the Sun Tracks is a cut. Next up, the Baja Blazers, the Baja Pack. Don't like this one at all. First of all, I don't think there's really that much of a demand for these off-roading type of cars for you to make a whole 5-pack for them. I really don't think people are really checking for these models as much as Mattel might think that they are. A lot of the time, these type of cars stay on the pegs, and also putting some of the bad rally off-road fantasy castings in these 5-packs with these licensed cars doesn't help at all either. And then you have some really bad color schemes and really bad decos for these cars right here. So to me, the Baja Blazers is an absolute cut. Maybe the best 5-pack that came out this year, and especially the best new 5-pack that came out this year, was the Gassers. I really like the Gassers 5-pack. I think it was themed well. It had castings that people liked. I think that the fantasy castings that they chose to put into this pack right here were great choices. They fit the theme, and I think it's a great looking 5 set of cars. I think they all go together really, really well. I like how they also have the fast bed hauler, the tow truck in there to kind of tie it all together. It just works really well. It's a great 5-pack, and it's definitely the way that they should be going. So the Gassers is a keep. The Tuned. Do I need to say anything else? I think you can assume what I'm gonna say here just by looking at the pack itself. Cut. Same thing about the Street Beasts. Why do we need a Street Beast? Are we still going with these silly, gimmicky animal cars? You don't need that as a 5-pack. Cut as well. And then the HW Fun Park. I mean, I don't even think I've seen the render of this, but just looking at the casting list, again, we don't need this. Cut these packs. And trust me, your pegs will be selling a little bit better going forward. And on a positive note here, I think the Nightburners pack, this has been a pack they've done over the last number of years. I think the Nightburners is always a really good theme. Again, I like the idea of having all these cars with these cool decos. You know, you're kind of thinking about them racing at night, street racing. It works. It's cool. I like the decos. It gives the designers even probably some artistic freedom to go out there and do what they want to do on these cars. I like the Nightburners. It gets a thumbs up for me, and it's a keep. The Retro Racers pack, for me, not perfect. I did do a YouTube short kind of review of this. I think it's an okay idea. Maybe it's just a one-off here. I like how it had El Segundo Coupe and the GT Scorcher in there, but the license castings they had to me did not look very good. So it can be a keep, it can be a cut. Either way, it's okay. And then finally, you also had the Mattel 80th anniversary set. I think it's smart whenever there's one of these milestones here to make a 5-pack commemorating that. And I like the choices of models that they had here. A lot of really famous Hot Wheels fantasy castings. So the Mattel 80th pack gets a thumbs up for me, but I do understand if it's not a year where there's going to be an anniversary, why you might want to actually cut that. Now here are some of the replacements from the past that I would take to replace these packs that I was just talking about and that I cut. So the first one's going to be the World Racers or the Flag Racers or whatever you want to call them. These are really cool packs with some of these international type of cars. Of course, the most famous one of these is the Nissan Skyline R32 in the Japan livery, but there was a lot of other really great castings that we saw in great decos. This is a good way to appease those licensed collectors who are looking for some different licensed castings, and this way you can actually get, you can have a British car, an Italian car, a German car, an American car, a Japanese car, a French car, etc, etc, etc. I would revamp the trucks. I would make a better truck 5-pack. Some of these old truck 5-packs here from the past are a lot stronger than some of the ones that we're seeing today. I would have a 5-pack just devoted to trucks here, and I think that would sell pretty well. Then all your big Hot Wheels track sets, and you can check out my Making Hot Wheels Tracks Great Again video to see some of my opinions on that. But once you make those great track sets, I would have 5-packs that would correspond with those track sets, just like you did in the past. So definitely having a great theming to a 5-pack that matches with the track set, and then you get that extra item that can be sold with that track set when someone's in the store. I would revamp the city packs to make them look more like the ones in the 90s. Simple it up, take the roles of those vehicles and assign it to them in those 5-packs, and you'll have much better city 5-packs, and these will be really good to sell for kids who are looking for ambulances, fire trucks, police cars, construction vehicles, service vehicles, all these different types of cars. One 5-pack that I really like, it's the Concrete Cruisers. This was a pack from the mid-2000s, and it was lowriders. This will be a great looking 5-pack in my opinion right here. Lowriders, it's an area of cars that people are interested in. You can have trucks, you can have those big kind of luxury boat type of land yacht type of castings as well. You can really make it fit the California lowrider scene. It can have those lowrider decos on it. I think that would be an excellent add to your 5-packs list to bring that one back. I like a rotating themed 5-pack. So, like I said before, the Wastelanders, the Robo Zoo, Pirates, the Wildcats, the Tikis, all these different themes, right? Pick 1 to 2 per year and put together a collection of 5 cars and then put them out there. There's also like the beach theme one, those surf theme ones. Just something like that, something cool, something fun, something interesting, something that's not in the main line, right? And you can see all the cars kind of corresponding with one another. It'd be a really unique way to see some of these castings in a different light. We do sort of a color theming for some of these 5-packs. One that I really liked from the mid-2000s was the Black Tops. The Black Tops, 5 castings, all in black. They all look great together. You could do the same thing with white. You could do a white heat series, but in a 5-pack, so you would have all these cars corresponding with one another. I think that that makes great theming and a great set when they're all together like that. I would do a manufacturer or 2 of 5-packs per year. It's we'll have to wait to see if Ferrari, now that they are back with Hot Wheels and they're starting to build their catalog of castings, if they'll want to do Ferrari 5-packs again. But they've done all different types of different manufacturers in the past. Chevy is one that really comes to my mind. They've done Dodge ones in the past as well. And they can even do it with cars. For example, I know they've done a Mustang 5-packs in the past. They've done Corvette 5-packs in the past. Maybe Camaro ones if I'm not mistaken. They've done a lot of different cars as well. It kind of shows how that car has evolved over the years because you have the different generations of that car in them. And a 5-pack is a great place to showcase all those different cars throughout the years. One set that I liked from a couple of years ago that they did was the car show. The car show. And in Matchbox, they even have something like this. It's like a Cars and Donuts or something like this, Coffee and Cars, something like that. A car meet, and you can have some interesting cars. This is a good way to do a variety of different cars, and they all just kind of work together, right? Because it's a car meet, and there's a variety of cars in the car meet, and this is a good way to give 5 solid licensed cars that have good decos. They can be different, and then people will like them, right? Because they're just great cars. Another 5-pack that I like from back in the day is Customizer's Corner. I think Customizer's Corner was super cool. I really like that because it shows the different parts of car culture, you know, the different customizers, the different people who are really in the garage and the different types of vehicles that they work on. And then I know I said that I would keep the Let's Race, but I would rather than get rid of Let's Race and bring back the Hot Wheels Legends 5-packs because it sort of serves the same sort of niche and it gets those signature Hot Wheels cars out there to the public, and that way they're always on the pegs. I think those castings like Twin Mill, Bone Shaker, Diora 2, some of the Legends Tour winners, right? I think those cars should always be kind of available for people to get just because it gives that spotlight to the real life cars as well, and it gives it that marketing that the Hot Wheels Legends Tour, you know, might want to have in stores. We talked about 5-packs right there. Now let's quickly brush on the 8-pack/10-pack. It depends on what country you're in, and the 20-packs here. And I think the biggest gripe I have with them is the multi-pack hell that some of these cars find themselves in for many, many, many years. Just being recolored over and over and over and over and over again and not getting a shot to be in the main line to really spotlight something different of these cars. They're really just getting forgotten about. Yes, we can get them in the stores, but they're done half-ass, right? They're just done half-ass. They're not done the right way. And I think that if you take these cars, you put them in the main line, they would have a lot more impact than they do now. So I have a list of cars right here I'm gonna run through. Some of these cars here have been in this multi-pack hell for some time period over the last 10 years or so. And all these cars, I believe the tooling is still around for. They've all had a release in the last 10 years, but again, it's mostly coming from multi-packs, sometimes from color shifters as well. So let's run through this list right here, and I would just have these cars just coming up on the screen one after the other. Silhouette 2, Diesel Boy. Now, Diesel Boy has that crappy retool. So if you don't want Diesel Boy anymore, you think it's ruined, I understand, we can cut it. Bedlam, the 71 Maverick Raptor, Prototype H24, Quick and Silk, Power Pipes, Monoposto, Drifsta, Exotique, Fairlady 2000, Formula Fastback, Mach Speeder, Slingshot, 16 Angels, Aston Martin Vulcan, Formulator, Shark Cruiser. They're doing it the Shark Cruiser. They're taking Shark Cruiser and making it a multi-pack only model, one of the most iconic castings from the 1980s, and they're going to be putting it in multi-pack hell. What woke nonsense is that? Then you have the 16 Civic Type R, the Torque Twister, and then the Devancinator. And look what they did to the Devancinator here. What the hell did this casting deserve to be put in this crap deco right here, right? So these castings right here, they're stuck in the multi-pack hell. Bring them back to the main line. Bring them back to the promised land, because I bet you they are going to sell much better than at least some of these crappy Experimotor castings that you have in the main line, some of the crappy tune castings that you have in the main line, some of the silly food castings that you have in the main line. These cars here will do a lot better than those, okay? So with the 10 packs and 20 packs, again, this is just really ways for people to get cars from the main line, and they just kind of adding them to gift sets. I'm not saying these need to be themed. They do not need to be themed. But, you know, take some of these multi-pack exclusive cars and get them out of this multi-pack hamster wheel that they're constantly on every single year, being added to this and just being forgotten about more and more and more, and rotate some different cars to take those cars places, and then have them maybe as multi-pack exclusive for 1 to 2 years at most, and then move them back to the main line, or just don't use them. That's it for today's video here. Again, big shout out to my Discord and to all the people from my Discord who joined the voice chat to help plan out this video and help brainstorm these ideas. I definitely appreciate every single one of you, and we'll definitely do it again because it was a lot of fun. Again, join the Discord if you guys want to be a part of these discussions and part of the video planning for my videos going forward, right? So what do you guys think about Hot Wheels multi-packs? What would you do to make Hot Wheels multi-packs much better and make them great again? I have definitely put out a lot of these different opinions in this video, so let me know what your thoughts on those are in the comments below. Like and subscribe and share the channel if you think that you know someone who would be interested in these videos. But until next time, thanks so much for your time, everyone, and for all your support. And then I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.